Come on in, everybody. It's time for the Southern Route. So, what's the Southern Route all about? Well, it's about Southern stuff. Southern people, Southern music, Southern food, Southern nights, Southern traditions, nostalgia, and so much more. Hello, and welcome back to the Southern Route on TNCRadio.LIVE. I am your host, Shannon Currier. I am venturing a little bit away from my usual topics this week, and I'm going to talk about something that means a lot to me. And if I'm being honest, I feel like it should mean something to everyone out there. So I've talked before about what my full-time job is, but I haven't really taken time to dig in and share about why I love what I do and why I love the industry I work in. And so this is the perfect week to do that. So I am going to jump right in. So I am the director of philanthropy for the St. Christopher Truckers Relief Fund. And the St. Christopher Fund is a 501c3 nonprofit. We serve and support over the road and regional truck drivers. We have two missions. There's two ways that we help over the road and regional truck drivers. The first one is we provide short-term financial assistance when an injury or an illness takes a driver off the road and that causes financial difficulty and they have trouble paying their necessity household expenses. The second thing that we do is we provide free health and wellness programs in order to help prevent some of the health issues that drivers face and encourage healthier lifestyle choices on the road. So let me clarify again. Our financial assistance and our health and wellness programs are for over-the-road and regional truck drivers with a Class A CDL. So you have to drive a semi-truck and you have to be over the road or regional in order to qualify for our assistance and for our free health and wellness programs. So let me tell you a little bit about how that works. The health and wellness programs are pretty much open most of the time. You can hop over to our website at truckersfund.org and click on the health and wellness tab on the right side of the page, and that's going to take you to our health and wellness programs that we have currently. We do free flu, pneumonia, and shingles vaccines. We also have a smoking cessation program called Rigs Without Cigs. And we also have a diabetes prevention program called Driving Down Diabetes. And then we have an ongoing program also where you can do online videos that are very similar to the diabetes prevention program, but they are work at your own pace type things. You're not part of an actual group. And that program is called Driven to Be Healthy. And we have fantastic corporate sponsors that provide support, financial assistance support for all of those programs, so we can offer those free to drivers. The other part, the financial assistance, what we do is when somebody applies for assistance with us, they fill out an application. It's about an 8-page application, so it does take a little bit of time. We request medical records, we request financials, we do employment verifications, we make sure that the person applying fits the criteria that we legally have to follow based on our legal status and on the guidelines set in place by our board of directors and our executive director. So if somebody does meet the qualifications and you do get approved for financial assistance, we are able to help in 4 areas. So we can offer assistance for rent or mortgage, whichever the applicant has. We can offer assistance for utility bills. We can offer assistance for insurance payments, and we can offer assistance for vehicle payments. That is all that we are able to offer assistance for. We do not cover medical bills or any of those extras. It's literally rent or mortgage, utility bills, vehicle payments, or insurance payments, and that is it. And all of our assistance goes directly to the bill holder. So the applicant has to send their bills to our office, and we cut the checks and pay those bill holders directly. So we don't actually give any money directly to the drivers. So that's a breakdown of who St. Christopher Fund is, and who we can help and what we are able to help with. So our organization is 100% donation based. And my job, I'm the director of philanthropy, and my job is to reach out to companies and basically ask for money, ask for financial assistance so we can help the drivers that need us, and so we can provide these free health and wellness programs. I also help coordinate events, fundraisers that we might have. We go to MATS every year, which is the Mid-America Truck Show, and we have a booth there and we raise money there. We have an amazing volunteer board of directors that it's filled with people who are invested in this industry, have years and years of knowledge of this industry, and from all parts of the industry. Our board president is a trucking company owner. We have people from the fuel stop arena. We have people from software area. We have people from the food side of things. So we have radio hosts on our board. So we have a great variety of people on our board. We also have a volunteer driver ambassador council that we work very closely with. They keep us informed about what's going on in the industry, what drivers are facing. They help us flesh out future ideas, future programs that drivers may need. So that's where we get the direction that we want to go in, the new programs that we want to offer. Those come from our driver council. Those also come from the applications that we receive, and that's how our health and wellness programs have come about, are actually from seeing the issues that drivers come to us for. And a lot of the health issues that drivers face are exacerbated by lifestyle things. It might be because they smoke, it might be from obesity, it might be from not a whole lot of movement during their day, because we know drivers sit a lot. And so that's how these programs that we have come about. We want to offer some preventative programs where drivers can work on some of the health issues that they might be facing. And so we can help them, walk hand in hand beside them and hopefully help make healthier decisions while they're out on the road, because it's tough out there, and all of that takes money, and we are 100% donation based. So that is where my job comes in. So I wanted to share a little bit about that to give you a background. Also, we've been around since 2008. That's when we helped our first driver. So we've been around quite a while. It is a large industry, so there's many, many people that still have never heard of us, even though we've been around since 2008. We have currently recently reached a milestone, actually, where we have given out over $4.1 million, and we have helped over 3,400 drivers. So that's a lot of drivers and a lot of assistance. And I'll clarify that $4 million number also. That's not how much money we've brought in. That is how much money we have paid out to assist drivers with financial assistance and these health and wellness programs. So we've given out over $4 million. So we really do feel like we are making a difference in this industry, in the lives of drivers, in the health of drivers, in driver retention. We work closely with a lot of companies. Some of the companies have their drivers sign up for our health and wellness programs. So we really do feel like that we're making a difference out there in this industry. And the awesome thing about this week, the reason I say all of that and why we do what we do and how we do what we do, is because this week is Truck Driver Appreciation Week. And believe it or not, there is 1 week out of the year that is National Truck Driver Appreciation Week, where we celebrate drivers. Now, at St. Christopher Fund, we celebrate drivers all day, every day, all year round. That's who we focus on. That's who we talk to. That's who we help. That's who we ask for help from. We ask for guidance from. We ask for information from. We are all about drivers. So, this week is a special week for us. We are celebrating for the whole month, but this is a special week for us to really shine a highlight on drivers and share driver stories and pictures of drivers because the industry is so large. Everybody pretty much knows somebody in the trucking industry. Now, that person may not be a driver, they may work in a mechanic shop, they may work in an office, they may do back office behind the scenes stuff. They may work for a brokerage. There's lots of ways that you can be involved in the industry. So this week we're focusing on truck driver appreciation, and I'm going to share after this break about what truck driver appreciation is, and we're going to talk about what truck drivers actually do. So we'll be right back to continue the conversation here on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm your host, Shannon Courier, here on the Southern Route.
For the latest in traffic, weather, and information, catch the Morning Grind weekdays right here on TNCRadio.LIVE.
Hope Savara here. Tune in every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNCRadio.LIVE for my new show, The Driver Life Podcast. From your feet to the food you eat, from cellular health to how your cell phone affects your health, from how you move to improving your sleep. I believe it's the small, simple changes that lead to the big results in your life so that you can feel good again. We cover it all here on the Driver Life Podcast, every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNCRadio.LIVE.
Join Dr. Chris Cortman for Building Strong Minds, Mondays at 7, 6 Central, TNCRadio.LIVE.
Hey, this is the Road Hammers. You're listening to TNCRadio.LIVE.
Hey everybody, we're back on the Southern Route. I'm your host Shannon Courier, and this week we are talking about truck drivers and truck driver appreciation. This week, the week of September 11th through the 17th, is National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. And I think during COVID, I think we all were reminded just how essential and how important truck drivers are, always have been, and always will be. But, we know that we as Americans also have a short attention span. And so, 2.5 years into COVID, we can sometimes forget how important the industry is and how important the men and women behind the wheel of these trucks are. And so that's why I love Truck Driver Appreciation Week, because it really does help us remember how essential and how important trucks are and truck drivers are. So I wanted to cover just a few statistics about trucks and the trucking industry and the kind of freight that's moved and how much is moved for those that might not know a whole lot about the industry. So 72.5% of the nation's freight is moved by trucks. Okay, that is almost 3/4 of the freight moved in this country is moved by truck. So that's why you will always hear people in the trucking industry say, if you have it, a trucker brought it. Because at one time or another, everything that you have, pretty much everything that you have, has been on a truck in order to make it to you, to your house for you to use. So that's a lot of everything that we have that we depend on truck drivers for. So there's about, I don't know, over 37 million trucks that are registered to use on the highways. That is a lot of trucks. They drive over 300 billion miles. They consume 45.5 billion gallons of fuel. There are 996,000 plus for-hire carriers, okay? Trucking companies. So when everybody thinks of trucking companies, they always think of the mega carriers. But here's the statistics on that. 91.5% of all of the trucking companies in this country operate with 6 or fewer trucks. Almost 97.5% operate with fewer than 20 trucks. So most of the trucking companies are small trucking companies. They are independent owner operators that have a few other drivers driving for them. So we see a lot of trucks on the road that are from the mega carriers, and that's because they are so large and they have a lot of trucks. So statistically, you're going to see more of those trucks, and a lot of the smaller carriers, a lot of them kind of run in a region maybe, so you might not see their trucks across the country. But most of the trucking companies in the United States are 20 trucks or smaller. I don't know if you knew that, but that's a pretty interesting statistic. So there are 7.65 million people employed throughout the economy in jobs that relate to the trucking industry. So that could be truck drivers, like I said, it could be mechanics, it could be you work in an office, it could be you do payroll for somebody. It could be working for a nonprofit organization in the trucking industry. There are a lot of people that work in this trucking industry. It takes a lot of people to make an industry this large run. So I wanted to share a little bit also on top of the statistics about what it looks like to be a truck driver. And so you will hear pretty much all truck drivers, they're going to say, driving a truck isn't a job. Driving a truck is a lifestyle. And I have heard that more times than I can count in my 8+ years in this industry. So it is a lifestyle. It's very different from an office job where you clock in from 8 to 5 and work. These men and women are out on the road. Their truck, that small space, is a workplace and it's their home while they're on the road. So the tiny house craze, truckers have been doing tiny houses for a very, very long time. So they are used to these small spaces. Truck drivers work long hours. They're away from family and friends. They miss birthdays. They miss anniversaries. They miss holidays. They miss cookouts on the weekends. There's a lot that they miss for the career that they have chosen. Life as a truck driver can be very lonely at times. But on the other hand, there's a lot of freedom to it, and there's a lot of adventure while they're on the road. So there's a lot to think about when you're considering going into the trucking industry and considering being a truck driver. Okay, so we know that they're essential, but what does it look like to drive a truck? You have to have a Class A CDL, which means you have to go through a Class A CDL certified school in order to get your Class A CDL license to drive one of these big trucks. So why do you have to do that? Because they're big, because they're heavy, because you need to learn how to drive one and what it takes to drive one. Some of them are automatic, some of them are not. It's not like driving a stick shift in a car. It's completely different from that. And there are many reasons that people choose to be a truck driver. Some people want to change from that desk job where they're sitting there looking at four walls. There are a lot of military veterans that have come out of service and they want to use their experience driving large vehicles outside of the military. So they choose to go into the trucking industry. And you'll hear a lot of conversation from military veterans that being in the trucking industry correlates to being in the service because they feel like they have a mission. They feel like they are still serving their country by delivering the goods that the people in this country need. Some people drive solo, which means they drive by themselves. Some people drive team. There might be husband and wife teams. There might be two women that drive as a team. There could be two men that drive as a team. They could just be buddies that drive as a team. And teams, they stay on the road a long time. They drive a lot of miles. One drives, one sleeps, and then they swap. So basically, as a truck driver, you're going to get paid to travel. That's if you choose to be an over-the-road driver. You're going to get to see lots of scenery. You're probably going to get to see all of the states all across the country. You're going to get to see beautiful sunrises and sunsets, hills and valleys and mountains, different times of the year. No day on the road is ever going to be the same. There's going to be new challenges. That could include weather. It could include routes. You know, you have to learn to drive in the rain, snow, sleet, hail, 80-mile-an-hour winds. You got to learn when to stop, when to say, hey, I'm done for the day because of this weather. You have to know how to drive up hills and down hills without burning up your brakes and your engine. There's a lot to know when you drive a truck. You also get to meet people from all walks of life. You connect with customers when you're loading, when you're unloading, when you are at truck stops. There's a whole network of people out there in the trucking industry that you get to meet. Some you might go back to if you have regular routes and you'll build relationships with. Others you just meet along the way and maybe you click and you stay in touch. Or maybe it was a one-time meet and it was just a new experience for you and that other driver. There's some job security in the trucking industry. We're pretty much always going to need truck drivers. Truck drivers are a vital part of our economy. We rely on them to move freight across the country. So some job security in this industry, that is for sure. But the life of a truck driver is not always easy. You know, you're away from home a lot. You spend most of your time in the truck. It does give you freedom. You are in charge of scheduling your days a lot of times if you're an owner-operator. If you are a company driver, you might have a regular route that you run. You have somebody helping you dispatch and running your clock, making sure you're staying within your clock that you have to run every day. Work hours for a truck driver, they can drive up to 11 hours a day within a 14-hour window. After 8 consecutive hours of driving, they're required to take a 30-minute break, and they're required to take a 10-hour break before driving again once their 14-hour workday ends. So there's a lot to know about how the clock works, when you can drive, when you can't. Can you take that next load? Do you have enough hours to do it? How many days a week does a driver work? They'll tell you they work every day. They do a lot of sitting as well, sitting to load at a shipper, sitting to unload at a receiver, wandering around after the day is done, driving around, I say, not wandering, but driving around trying to find parking at the end of the day because there's never enough parking either. So there's a lot that goes into being a truck driver, living in a small space. Where am I going to eat for the day? What do the truck stops have as far as food? Have I prepared food from home so I can eat healthier on the road? Do I have a place to shower tonight? Do I have to stop on the side of the road because there's no parking? There's just a lot to take into consideration when you become a truck driver. It's not just sitting behind the wheel and driving a truck from one location to another. It's not like being on vacation. It is a lot of work. A lot of preparation. Drivers are all about safety. They want to get home to their family and friends just like you do. They are not out there to make our lives miserable. They are not out there to frustrate us. They are there to drive safely, to deliver the goods that they have on their trucks, and to get home safely to their family and make sure you get home safely to yours. So that's just a lot of information, but a really big overview of what drivers do. We could spend hours and hours and hours digging into the ins and outs of what it looks like to be a truck driver. But that's a quick overview, and we're going to be back with a little bit more here in a few minutes on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'll talk to you soon. I'm your host, Shannon Currier, here on the Southern Route.
Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Cortman, and now for the Mental Health Minute. Can people really change? I mean, should you even bother getting into therapy? It's expensive and time-consuming. And for what? Can you really change? Years ago, I had a graduate school professor who said, people don't change unless it's too painful not to. Is that true? Well, in my experience, not all the time, but it's pretty good. Because change is often motivated by pain, by some kind of discomfort, by something that hurts deeply, something that frustrates us, and therefore motivates us to take on a challenge to change something. So what can we change? Not other people. Oftentimes not circumstances, not the weather. What we can change is our perception of things. We can change our behavior and our responses to people and situations. And we can also learn how to let go of painful things from our past. Those are things that therapy can really help you change.
Ready for the power of positive and something that will put you back to a time you wanted to last forever? Music is the ultimate time machine. What was your favorite time? Do you want to go back there? LTD Radio features the songs of the 70s, 80s, and 90s that will transport you to a happier time. It'll make you smile and brighten your day. We could all use that about now. TNCRadio.LIVE is proud to carry the great music of LTD Radio.
Be sure to catch the Truckers Network radio show with your host, Shelley Johnson, weekdays at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on TNCRadio.LIVE.
Hey, so we're back here on TNCRadio.LIVE on the Southern Route. I'm your host, Shannon Currier, and we have been talking about truck drivers and the trucking industry and how this week is National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. And I do love this industry. I do love these drivers. They are such hard workers. They are such generous people, and they would literally give you the shirt off their back. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about a couple of Truck Driver Appreciation Week campaigns that are going on that I would love for you to go and participate in. It doesn't cost you anything. It is literally sharing information. So the St. Christopher Fund has a Truck Driver Appreciation Week campaign that is active now on our website. And our website is truckersfund.org. So if you go to the website, you're going to see there on the main page, you're going to see a banner about Truck Driver Appreciation Week, and there's going to be a button that says Learn More. If you click on that button, it's going to take you to our Truck Driver Appreciation Week landing page, where we are sharing the companies that donated to St. Christopher Fund in honor of Truck Driver Appreciation Week, because that is a way companies support and let drivers know that they are in support of them, is making sure St. Christopher Fund has the funds we need to support drivers when they need us the most. So those companies are highlighted. You're going to see some drivers that are highlighted on that page as well. Our first sponsor that you're going to see on the list is Brittany Transportation, and that is our volunteer board president, Joyce Brittany. She's the owner of Brittany Transportation, and she wanted to highlight all of her drivers, which I think is so much fun. So there's 75 drivers there. You're going to see their pictures. As you scroll down, you're going to see some information from some of our other sponsors, but you'll also see some other drivers that people out there wanted to highlight. So everybody is going to know probably a driver or somebody in this industry that you know, love, and respect that you would just like to thank during Truck Driver Appreciation Week. So that is what we want you to do. We want you to go to truckersfund.org, click on the Learn More button there on the Truck Driver Appreciation Week banner, and scroll down to the bottom of the page and send us a picture and a story about a driver that you know and love. We want to highlight as many drivers as possible on our page. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does give you an opportunity to say thank you to somebody that you appreciate that is in the trucking industry during this Truck Driver Appreciation Month. So go and do that. The second thing I would love to ask you to do is one of our other partners for St. Christopher Fund is a broker, and they are C.H. Robinson. They are the largest 3PL broker in the country, probably in the world, I believe. But They also have a campaign going on for Truck Driver Appreciation Week. And again, it doesn't cost you anything. So if you go over to chrobinson.com, they are going to have a Thank a Trucker campaign over there. And I love this campaign because here's how it works. You know, if we don't take a picture of something and post it on social media, then it didn't really happen, right? So that's what this campaign is all about, sharing pictures and taking pictures of things that we have every single day, that we use every single day, that we recognize got delivered by a truck, got delivered by a truck driver on a truck. Okay. So things like, I don't know, watermelon. Your watermelon got delivered on a truck. The potatoes that you're going to make for dinner tonight, those mashed potatoes or those French fries or those scallop potatoes, whatever they are, those got delivered on a truck. If you have antiperspirant or deodorant that you use when you go to the gym and work out, that got delivered on a truck. If you have paper towels and napkins that you use every day to clean up in the kitchen or to dry your kids' hands with when they get through washing their hands from being outside, those paper products were delivered on a truck. If you have chew toys for your dog, or if you've ordered from a company online that is delivering maybe dog food or chews or treats or supplements for your dog, those were delivered on a truck. If you have school supplies, those were delivered on a truck. If you have a treehouse in your backyard for your kids that they play in, that the materials for that treehouse were delivered on a truck. If you have a home gym, the things that you use for your home gym, the weights, the bands, the jump rope that you might use, the elliptical that you might be on, the whatever it is you use to work out, those things were delivered by a truck. The cell phones that we use every single day, the makeup that we put on our faces, the cups that we drink out of, the computers that we use, the markers that we use, everything that we use has been delivered by a truck. So this campaign with C.H. Robinson is all about that. Being creative about what you are thanking truck drivers for. So if you go to their page, for example, it's going to say there's going to be a picture there that says, thanks for the napkins. Well, it's not just thanks for the napkins. There's a dad and his son that have been playing, and the son has, or the daughter has put, shaving cream or something all over his face, and he's got to wipe that off. Those paper towels were brought by a truck driver, okay? And we all know that medications, toilet paper, disinfectant wipes that we were all so in need of during COVID, all of that is delivered by a truck driver. And those things are delivered while we're sitting at home ordering off of Amazon or wherever else we're ordering our grocery pickup, so we don't have to go grocery shopping. A lot of us worked from home during COVID. We didn't go out anywhere because we didn't have to. Everything could be delivered to our home. Truck drivers were still out there every day, every night. Some of those drivers not going home for months on end, but to make sure that we had those supplies so we could stay home, so we could stay safe, so we could work from home and not expose ourselves and our families and our children. But yet these drivers were out there exposing themselves to illness across the country and then not going home to their own families because they didn't want to take a chance to take something home to their own families. So it is a lifestyle that most of us are unwilling to live, and me included. And I did spend a week on a truck about 3 years ago. A friend of mine that drives for Crete, his name is Craig Daniels, and he allowed me and his company allowed me to spend a week on a truck with him so I could get a better idea of what it means to live the life of a truck driver. And that was only a week. And we slept in the truck. He had a double bunk. I slept on the top bunk, so I had my own space. But we ate at truck stops. We showered at truck stops. We did all of that. So I got just a glimpse of what it's like to live the life of a driver. I know I probably had an easy week because they knew I was on the truck, and I think they took it a little bit easy on me. But it gave me an idea of sitting and waiting and how impatient I am is what I learned. I learned how impatient I truly am. But it also, you can see a whole lot more from the cab of a truck and watching the traffic and watching Craig be aware of what's going on around him at any given time. He never got excited. He never got nervous. He never almost hit somebody. There was none of that. He was very aware of what was going on at all times. And I know there's drivers out there, just like there are people in cars that don't pay attention when they drive. They're eating or they're on their phone or they're doing whatever. There's people doing that driving cars. There's people doing that driving trucks. I know that. But for the most part, drivers are out there because they want to see the country and they want to get home safe to their families. So they are going to drive as safe as possible. So even when you're not looking out for them, they are looking out for you. They are anticipating what you are doing. So that's why I love this week, again, is to remember and really reflect on the life that a driver lives, why we depend on them, be thankful that there are people willing to live a truck driver lifestyle so we don't have to. And so we can get the things that we want and we need when we want them and when we need them. And yes, I'm sure there are things that aren't stocked on your shelves. There are things that aren't stocked on mine as well still. Most of those are not necessity things per se, but and I've thought many times, who do I know that delivers mustard? I don't have any mustard in my Walmart. Let me call my driver and say, hey, where's all the mustard? That is all fun and games because I know how hard these men and women work. I know how much I appreciate them. And I would just like to encourage you to reflect on the importance of these drivers and of this industry. Find somebody to thank. Go out of your way and say thank you to a driver this week. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on TNCRadio.LIVE here on the Southern Route.
Front Lane introduces Impulse, the world's first collision alert system for the driver behind you when you have to brake hard. Impulse uses ultra-bright pulsing red LEDs to alert drivers behind you who might not be giving their full attention to the road. Using amazing accelerometer technology and a battery that will last for years, Impulse installs in minutes, fits nearly any vehicle, and never requires additional wiring. Drivers react 50% faster, helping to protect you and your passengers. Learn more by visiting www.frontlane.com/impulse. That's www.frontlane.com/impulse. Approved by all 50 states. Impulse by Frontlane.
TNCRadio.LIVE, your commercial driver navigation station.
Hey y'all, this is Curtis Grimes, and I want to give a shout out and a special thank you to everyone associated with TNCRadio.LIVE.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
Hey everybody, we are back for our final segment here on the Southern Route. I'm your host Shannon Currier, and we are wrapping up a show about Truck Driver Appreciation Week and recognizing how essential and how important the men and women out on the road are to our lives each and every day. These men and women, these highway heroes, are out there living this trucker lifestyle, enjoying the freedom, but taking their job seriously to make sure that we have everything that we want and that we need. And one thing I wanted to do in this last segment is share with you a poem that is very well known in the industry, and it has been around for a long time. And it is a take on God made the farmer, right? We all know Paul Harvey and God made the farmer. So this is a takeoff on that, and it's called God Made a Trucker. So I wanted to read this poem to you if you don't mind. So here it goes. On the 9th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need someone to help the farmer. So God made a trucker. God said, I need someone willing to get up before dawn in a foreign town, inspect his or her truck, work all day delivering anything and everything we need to survive, to care for everyone traveling the roads, then at the end of a long day, call his or her family who he or she is away from yet again. So God made a trucker. God said, I need somebody willing to drive a 40-ton truck all night through snow, sleet, and rain with nerves of steel. I need somebody who can repair a truck in 0-degree weather while cars speed by at 70 miles an hour. I need someone who can secure a load to an icy trailer in 40-mile-an-hour winds, and someone who can repair anything with duct tape, baling wire, and elbow grease. I need someone who will drive 600 miles in a single day, dodging cars that don't see him in the mirror, then crawl into the sleeper and rest for a few hours, longing for their family at home, and then turn around and put in another 600 miles the next day. So God made a trucker. God said, I need somebody strong enough to lift 100 pounds, yet gentle enough to wave a small child across the street, and who will stop his truck for an hour to save a lost dog or to assist a scared single mom whose car has broken down. It has to be somebody who'd drive straight and steady for hours on end. Someone to drive, repair, load, secure, and unload for countless hours, and serve others that don't respect them and watch out for everyone. Somebody who would keep a family together from thousands of miles away, never asking for anything. Someone who would laugh, then sigh, and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Daddy does. So God made a trucker. God bless you, truckers, for what you do out there. I hope you will take the time to go over to the St. Christopher Fund page at truckersfund.org and share a story and a picture of a driver or someone in this industry that you know, love, and respect that you would just like to say thank you to for this week. I hope that you will go over to the C.H. Robinson page, chrobinson.com, Truck Driver Appreciation Week page. I hope you will share their photos. I hope you will take your own photos to share things around your home that you recognize that a truck driver delivered so you could have it. I hope you will use the hashtag thanks for everything literally. Hashtag thanks for everything literally, because drivers deliver literally everything to us on a daily basis. Without them, our economy would shut down. Without them, we would not have the resources, the medications, and the fun things that we want and need every day. I hope you will find a way to thank a driver this week. If that means going out of your way to go to his truck stop, go shake a driver's hand and say thank you. Buy them a cup of coffee. Buy them lunch even. Give them that elbow pull so they honk their horn. Drivers still love that, and we don't do it as much as we used to, but they will typically blow their horn every time. And give them room on the road, would you? Understand that they are heavy. They don't move as fast as we do. They can't stop as fast as we do. Please don't cut off a truck driver. Please give them room on the road. Understand that they want to keep you safe. They want to be safe. They want you to get home to your family. They want to get home to their family as well. Go share a story and a picture. Think about the things that you have because somebody made it happen out there. I hope you have a fantastic week. I thank you for listening about Truck Driver Appreciation. I hope you go and do some research on the industry and how important and vital it is to our economy and everything that we do every day. I love what I do at St. Christopher Fund. I love the drivers that I work with. I love the company relationships that I have been able to build. I have a lot of respect for this industry, a lot of respect for these men and women, and I am proud to call so many of them friends. And I am proud to be a part of the TNCRadio.LIVE family, who the whole purpose is to be a place for drivers to go for information, for entertainment, to join and give feedback, and just feel appreciated. So I thank you for the opportunity to talk to you this week. I thank you for your time. Please be safe out there. I hope you have a fantastic week. Share a smile, make somebody laugh today, give somebody a compliment, and go say thank you for Truck Driver Appreciation. We'll talk to you next week here on TNCRadio.LIVE. I'm Shannon Currier here on the Southern Route. We'll talk to you next week.
Don't forget, you can hear all of our TNC Radio primetime shows again on our podcasts. Just go to tncradio.live/podcasts or search for tncradio.live wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do you have the TNCRadio.LIVE app? It's free and easy to download. Just go to app.tncradio.live, Google Play, or the App Store. Get access to live streaming radio developed by drivers for drivers. Download the TNCRadio.LIVE app today.
I'm Shelley Johnson with Kathy Tuccaro. You can hear us Tuesdays on TNCRadio.live at 8 p.m. Eastern on Women Road Warriors. And don't miss Steve Summers' Overnight Drive right here on TNCRadio.live, weeknights midnight to 5 a.m. Eastern. Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.